Joining us now, Republican Arizona Congressman, Chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, Andy Biggs. Congressman, we appreciate you being here with us. You in the past, sir, have been quite critical of executive orders, especially when Barack Obama used them. Why is it different if President Trump does it?
Well, I'm not saying it's better or different necessarily. What I would say is I'm believing in this instance, depending on how broad and how deep these go and the language that is used in these executive orders, he may be using some authority that's been delegated by Congress. And that's why we've got to really see the orders and parse them out, because I think that's what they're trying to do, is to find the legal basis for him to issue these executive orders, and that's different.
There's always the legal basis in sort of, parsing one letter of the Constitution versus the other. We know what the Constitution says, Article 1, Section 9, that the power of the purse lies in Congress. The founders never thought, oh, gee, we're going to have money appropriated for one thing, and then the president, because he doesn't like what Congress is doing, is going to try to appropriate it somewhere else and spend it that way. That wasn't how the system was designed, sir.
Well, Leland, I would agree with you, except for Congress for the last 100-some-odd years has been delegating that spending authority to the executive branch, and sometimes with just wide open authority. And I think that's where you need to look at, and that's why it's so critical to see what he's doing. And no, it just, I mean, there's constitutional authority that says everything's supposed to originate in the legislature for spending. That's for sure. But Congress has delegated this stuff, in my opinion, ridiculously overly broad. And so I want to see what he's going to do with this.
Fair position. In the larger sense, Chris Steyerwalt had said this about the Republican Party, perhaps not specifically referring to the Freedom Caucus, but the Republican Party as a whole. Take a listen.
Of Republicans becoming a nationalistic party and not a conservative party, or a party that espouses conservative views. You can't have the federal government say to landlords across the country, you may not have the president just say, you can't evict anybody, because eviction isn't a federal issue to begin with. It's constitutionally dubious to even have the Congress say it.
Agree with that?
In large measure, but I think there are some areas where the Congress would have some authority based on the Commerce Clause.
Congress can't seem to agree on anything, so let's get to the issue of the president.
You're right about that. I mean, we've really become, in some places, a case study in stasis, that's for sure. But I mean, if you're just talking about legalistically and constitutionally, I think there's some areas to get there. But there's no doubt.
The president yesterday said that he was going to do something about evictions. Is there anything he can do in terms of interfering with the contracts between private citizens that you'd be okay with, as somebody who's spoken out so passionately about the need to return to the rule of law and executive overreach?
Leland, I can't think of a way that you can structure that where any government at any level can intervene in written contracts, especially when this cascades. So you tell a residential or commercial tenant you don't have to pay, and the landlord can't evict. But then now who's going to forbear the landlord's mortgage or investment reimbursement payments they have to make? They're carrying charges, and it's just cascading out there. So it becomes a very difficult thing to see. We'll see how the president wants to structure this. I mean,
Mark Smith on earlier, who was an advisor to the 2016 transition campaign. He said, look, there'd be a way to do this of the takings clause, that all of a sudden you'd have the federal government paying everybody's rent, which would be just fabulous, rather than tenants paying it. We're talking about $1 trillion here and $1 trillion there, so I'll end with this. Is it time for Republicans to start being fiscally conservative again? Because that's quite out of vogue, even at the White House these days.
Look, I'm telling you, it was time 20 years ago. And we're talking about, Leland, probably a realistic assessment of our national debt is $30 trillion. A realistic assessment of our structural deficit is going to be closer to $5 trillion than the posted 2.5. So the answer is yes. Yes, in every way.
This puts you on a different side, though, than the president, who seems just fine with spending another $1 trillion or so at least.
I've talked with folks in the administration. I think this is an excruciating decision the president's trying to make, because he's trying to protect as many people as possible. But at the same time, I'm looking at what's long-term foundational to the economy.
Congressman, we appreciate your insights and your candor as always. We know it's a little warm out there in Arizona. Enjoy a cool afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon, sir.
Hey, thanks, Leland. Good to talk to you.
All the best.